Information Analytics classmates, Raja. I hope you are all doing well today. Today for my Lab 6 report, I'm going to be demonstrating two things. How we can further visualize a dataset in Weka using the Visualize panel, and also how we can perform cluster analysis, which we've been discussing in class recently, and more specifically, k-means and hierarchical clustering. So when we first load in the data, we'll be using the iris dataset today. We are by default given histograms for each attribute of the dataset. We can see the distribution of the sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width, each colored by our class variable, and we can also see the distribution of the class/target variable itself, which is the kind of iris flower, which is listed here. Now, if we move over to the Visualize panel, we are met with a plot matrix, with each plot having different attributes for the x and y axes, respectively. So if we move over to this one, for example, the petal length and petal width, we can see how the data points are arranged and which class each of the data points point to. And we can also adjust the colors for each class, should we desire to do so. And we can also click on a data point to see what it represents. Here we can see what the other attributes are, the sepal length and the sepal width, which isn't either of the axes, and what class it is. And if we want to change the x and y axes, we can change it using this drop-down menu up here. I'll change it to sepal width, and the sepal length, see different distributions. We can also use this slider called jitter, which adds some randomness to our data points. Now, this is helpful for identifying data points that might have values sitting right on top of each other. For example, see this one right here, maybe. No. See, right here. This one data point represented two instances, which we would not have really seen unless you wanted to click around on each one. So by using jitter, we can add some randomness, and then we can see that there are data points with dark marks on them, which indicates that they're resting on top of each other. So it's just a really helpful tool to really just see all the instances that are on the data point or on the plot. We can also use instance. For example, if I use the rectangle to select a certain part, and if I were to submit that, it zooms in and automatically scales that rectangle for us. So we can view just maybe this part where the two clusters are really close. Just maybe look at the distance, get an expert, have him analyze it, maybe ask for his input, things like that. Now what I would like to demonstrate, since we have been learning about it in class recently, is clustering. So move over to the cluster panel. And first we'll use the simple k-means method. And if I were to just run this without editing any of the parameters, we are given information like the clustered instances. Here we have two clusters, cluster 0, cluster 1. There's 100 instances in one and 50 instances in the other. We can also see the total squared error right here, 62.14. We can also, by clicking up here, edit the parameters. So maybe I could change the number of clusters here if I would want to. It's just an example. And there's also a seed here. I'll first run this as an example. I'll delete this just because we don't need that. We'll run that, and we have our total squared error, 7.8. And we have our values here. If I were to change the seed to 11, I can do that. And the clusters are different. You can see here. And we can do this in case we want to replicate a desired cluster that we have. And so now we can also use the hierarchical cluster, which we also learned in class. We can also change the parameters, and you'll also see we talked about this on Wednesday of a distance function, including the three we talked about in class, the Euclidean, Manhattan, and Minkowski distance. We'll use Euclidean for now. We can also change the link type. For example, we talked about single, average, and centroid. I'll keep it single for now. I'll make it 3 clusters. Then I'll create that. There we are. And now we can also visualize these by right-clicking them and hitting Visualize Cluster Assignments. And this, you can navigate this the same way we worked in the Visualize panel as well. We can add jitter, change the X and Y axes, and yeah, it's just another way to visualize. So that is everything I have to show you all. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope the video was helpful. Bye for now.